Network. The show brings the temperature of sports to a whole new level. Whether it's a local opinion or a national agenda, everything is fair game. Remember, everyone has an opinion, but only few can back it up. Now sit back, crank up the volume, and if you think you can handle it, get ready for the heat.
And welcome in, everybody, to Heat Ratio Live, episode 153. I'm your host, Tony Jigsaw, joined by my man, Mikey Googs. We're going 2 for 2 tonight. We're just going solo. Me and Mikey Googs. We're going to talk a little Phillies, little Eagles, talk about ultimate stiffs. We're going to have some fun tonight. Speaking of which,
plenty of those around. Plenty of those.
Well, and we're talking we're talking players, we're talking coaches, whoever's on the map. We don't even care. But let me get a couple things get off my chest, real fast. Let me give a shout out to Yingling, who sent us a really nice caring package. We're actually going to do some stuff with Yingling in the very near future. Going to get to interview their owner, which is pretty cool. They have actually a few daughters that actually take care of the company, and her name is Wendy. So Wendy will be a part of Heat Ratio Sports. We got some other interviews lined up. I got Alexa Ross coming from Rochester, New York. She covers the Buffalo Bills. We're going to break down the draft a little bit with her. Matt Lombardo for NJ.com, who covers the Giants. We're going to get his take on Kenny Galladay and Daniel Jones. A lot of good things happening here at Heat Ratio Sports. And let me not forget, keep an eye out for National Bobblehead Museum. This is what it's all about right here. National Bobblehead Hall of Fame. We're doing some really cool stuff with them. Okay, we're giving away two Joe Lunardi bobbleheads, 2 Sister Jean bobbleheads, individually numbered, handcrafted, certificate of authenticity straight from the National Bobblehead Hall of Fame. And we're going to be doing this all year long. Every time they come out with a limited edition, we are going to get 2 for us to give back to you. So we're going to be doing some really cool stuff on this show, but that's all for me right now. Let me get the mic. What's up, Googs?
Well, it's been another interesting week. So I know that the bobbleheads and the Yingling, really cool stuff. Happy to be a part of that. It's amazing. But getting into what we know, we're going to go right to, our favorite friend, Mr. Howie Roseman.
Yeah, we can't go out with that. We can't go on without talking about Howie, right?
No, we have to. Yeah, there he is. There's the
right,
genius.
There's Howie.
There he is. Yeah,
and he must have been on the phone with Joe Flacco.
Yeah, making deals.
We have a new backup quarterback, Mike.
Correct. Yeah, exactly. Welcome, Philadelphia Eagles should proudly welcome Joe Flacco.
Local boy, right? Local boy, Mr. Joe. I know
you like it. I know you like it. Just tell me you like it.
I do like it.
Oh, that's fine.
I like it. I listen, I don't expect the guy to play, right? I don't expect the guy to play, but he did help Lamar Jackson.
He did.
So we have to remember that.
And like you said earlier, he's a local boy, right? So we don't have any hate against Joe.
No.
But you do have to wonder, though, are there more pressing needs than that? What's happening right now? See a lot of rumors going around. I mean, all last week, the talk was Deshaun Watson and all this stuff floating around about how Howie would mortgage the farm again to get Deshaun Watson. Look, regardless of whether or not that's true, it started somewhere, right? So now, those rumors are floating around. You're supposed to be behind Jalen Hurts because there's rumors floating around thinking that, everybody is saying that he's the guy, Carson, he left. It's Jalen Hurts' team now. The owners are behind Hurts. First of all, nobody knows what's going on. Nobody knows if the owner is behind Hurts, if Howie and the owner are behind Hurts. We don't know what's happening. But let's just roll it back for a minute. Let's just pretend that you're Jalen Hurts. What are you thinking if you're Jalen Hurts now?
That's a good point.
Let's talk about that.
Point. And hold on. Here's breaking news from John Clark.
Here we go.
John Clark, right?
Here we go.
And shout out John. I like John. Right?
Of course.
Got a new podcast called The Takeoff, doing some good things. Love John Clark.
Solid dude.
Eagles say Joe Flacco will not only be a backup, will compete for the starting position with Jalen Hurts. Are you kidding me?
Okay, so I rest my case.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I didn't even read that report. I didn't even read it. So I rest my case, right? Complete. Well, at least we know one thing about the Eagles' inconsistency. They'll always be consistent on being the dysfunctional Eagles. Now, this guy,
Jalen Hurts, is that?
Who knows?
You seriously sold Joe Flacco that he is going to be a competitor? Really? Oh my God.
Did they really do that, or did they say that because they wanted to motivate Jalen Hurts? Who knows what's going on? I mean, I don't even, we could just sit here because, you know what, the first 45 minutes of our shows throughout the year, specifically during the pandemic, was just a destruction on Howie Roseman, right? It was a destruction. Andre, you're right. What's up, Andre? What's up, Al? And you know what, Andre? I should have went to the whiskey tonight because this report is going to drive me right back to the tequila again, man. I'm trying to lay off that stuff. But when you hear shit like this, what are you supposed to do? It's ridiculous. Oh, here's the next breaking report. Eagles have hired Press Taylor as the new assistant offensive coach.
This is comical. It really is. I mean, and again, it goes with the entire narrative that these what are you trying to do to Jalen Hurts? Look, I mean, this is what our franchise is right now.
Well, minus one.
Right. Doug's out, Crusher's out, right? But number one, Jalen Hurts has faced the most adversity I've ever seen at not only a collegiate level, but at a professional level. And he's handled it with the utmost professionalism. He's won a locker room. He went out there and he played when everybody doubted him, whether it be in Oklahoma, Alabama, Philadelphia, it doesn't even matter, right? And so you bring Joe Flacco in to say, hey, by the way, Jalen, this is going to be your competition. He's going to push you for a job. That's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. And you know what? Where's Sirianni? Where's he at? Hey, Nick, is this your guy, Nick?
Milk carton. That dude's on the milk carton. He's on the side of a milk carton. He's completely missing in action. No one knows what's going on with this guy. I mean, they let him out of the house for a minute to play with the reporters, and he destroyed that press conference. It was a complete joke. I mean, it's just so easy to sit here and just throw bombs at the Eagles all day long. And I don't want to do it, but they give you unlimited ammunition. Like this report on Flacco, come on, man. I mean, did they even have to say anything? They could have just said, they could have said nothing. He was available. We needed, some veteran leadership on Hurt. Yes. I mean, a good support mechanism or something. Get behind Hurts, but now they're not. That doesn't show that they're behind Hurts at all. What does it show?
Al, you're right. I think you're kidding me. Like Andre says, if I'm Jalen Hurts, I'm like, bro, what's going on in Philly? Really? Right? This is how we thought this season go. Exactly. It's different if you go out and you get Deshaun Watson, right? Obviously, you're okay. You're right. Okay. We know that.
No problem.
But you're bringing even to a midget of maybe you bring in Fitzmagic. And you say this, right? Just maybe, right? Because of what he did. Joe friggin' Flacco. No disrespect to Joe, but come on. Are we not past this right now?
I agree with you.
This is a joke, man.
It's a joke. It's a joke. You could, like you said, you could sell Fitzmagic a little bit. I mean, You could say based upon what he did. But to announce that Joe Flacco is going to be competing for the starting job after everything that we went through and all of the drama and the pick on Hurts and everything else and all the crap that we've been sold, what do you really believe now? What's going on with that organization? I mean, you can't sit here and say, well, there's a plan and they've planned to do this and they knew Carson was leaving. Anything that you can put together that resembled somewhat of a smidget of a cohesive plan in the beginning of the year is completely thrown away with that last announcement.
Yep. 100%. 100% agree. Completely. It's gone.
Gone.
And you know what? Coming into this show, I was excited in the sense that I shouldn't say excited. I'm kind of looking forward to a new era. Okay, I'm tired of the Carson. He's gone. Let's stop worried about Carson, right? I'm not worried about Carson. I didn't want to see Nick Foles. I figure, you know what? I thought this would happen if you brought in Nick Foles. So I didn't want Nick Foles. But now I figure, all right, cool. We got a backup in Flacco. Now this comes out. It's ruined my whole friggin' night now. It ruined my whole mojo thinking about the Eagles.
But what's the point of it? Like, what's the end game of this? Do you think that they wouldn't have been able to sign Flacco?
Mike says Flacco made less last year, went 0-4 as a starter. The cap went down, and now a year older. That's a great point. They're paying him more.
Mike. Thanks for checking in, Mike.
Than he made last year, and he sucked. He was terrible.
Terrible. So why do this?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Andre says, is there a pipeline to the University of Delaware players so you can pay them $60,000 a year instead of millions? I'm ridiculously confused by this move.
Yeah, join the crowd, Andre. Nobody understands anything. Nobody can. Is there anybody that can put any type of viable reason for them doing this?
No. I could see him having a reason if he was going to be a veteran leader and a backup.
Before, I'm sorry, right. I meant before that. Right. Before that announcement.
Yes, before, and now it just confuses everything. It just confuses everything, 100%, everything. If Joe Flacco wanted to start, maybe he should have went to Miami, or maybe he should have went. I don't know. Go somewhere where the quarterback situation is a little less, a little more cloudy, a little more murky than it is here in Philadelphia.
How can anybody consider him a starter?
Well, how about this point? How about Jeff Lurie coming out a couple weeks ago? Now, think about that, saying we're not getting competition for Jalen Hurts. He's our guy, remember? Now,
of course.
Right? So, talk about dysfunction. Now you got this guy coming out saying he's competing for a starting job.
I mean, say whatever you want. Anything that they say, you can't believe, because not only are they're dysfunctional, they're incompetent, and you can't trust anything that comes out of anybody's mouth when anybody says anything over there. I mean, how about if you're a player, right, and you're taking a paycheck from this organization? I mean, they're your employer, right? You're depending on them. How do you look at the leadership of this company and have any type of faith in anything that they're saying? I mean, is it just a complete joke? What's the real relationship between Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman? If you crack that riddle, I'm sure everything else will really come into play and start to make a lot of sense, because anything that they're doing right now makes zero sense. They are not trying to win football games, because if they were, they would get real competent football people in there to make good football decisions. It is totally clear that Howie Roseman has absolutely no idea what he's doing, and he got lucky in 2017. That's it. It's the end of it. He just got lucky. He got lucky.
No, you're right about that. He did get lucky. He did. And Brian checking in. What's up, Brian? Says you can't believe a single thing. And even the leaks. You're right. Even let's go point. Even the leaks you can't believe.
Great point.
Yeah.
Great point.
Even the leaks are wrong.
You can't even believe the lies. Does that even make sense?
How did we get here? Like, seriously, how the hell did we get here?
I mean, it's just so easy to sit here and bitch every week, and you don't want to. And like you said, we weren't getting excited, but they did do some moves. They shaved some money around. They had a little wiggle room. You had a new quarterback coming in, and say whatever you want about the coach. We don't know anything about this guy, but he was new, and anything new is different. And now this.
Yep,
for sure. Flacco's agent is a genius. Andre says the organization is easily sold. I'm about to get hired to be the offensive coordinator for $36 million a year. Why not? They're easily sold. If that's the case, Andre, then you have to take Tony and me as your offensive assistants, because we know how to play Madden. We can ball out in Madden. That's good enough, apparently.
I could build a hell of a Madden franchise team, bro. I'm in. I'm 100% in.
Yeah, just exactly. What do you mean, Mike? Lurie said they have 5 guys that will be GMs in this league someday. Oh, yeah, that's right, Mike. Yeah. Well, we're a GM factory. Great point, Mike. Great point.
We have all these guys just waiting. Brian says, got to agree with Goose. Douglas was much more responsible for the Super Bowl. You're right. We're learning that, right?
It seems like it.
Yeah, he went to the Jets, and he's trying out there. But yeah, he knew to get out of here.
Yeah, for sure. He knew. He ran away. Absolutely. Yep. Like anybody would have. But again, Andre brings up a good point. The agent just knows, I'll go shopping to the Eagles. I'll polish them up. I'll get them they'll sign anybody. These guys. It's so crazy what's going on. It's
crazy. It's crazy. But you know what? We gave them enough play tonight already. Like, that even went, that was 10 minutes too long talking about this dysfunction. It's a shame. It really is. And before we move on, I have to ask you this, because this is not breaking news, but this is national news. And on a serious note, what's going on with Deshaun Watson? Listen, I get you're innocent to proven guilty, right? And I'm not going to comment on what I think or whatever. We're not going to get into that. But my whole thing is in a little bit of a, I don't know the word for it, but I'll just say in a sense, his career could be over. Because Mike, as well as I do, even if this goes away somehow, and listen, this isn't 3, 4, we're talking down the 20s, in the 20s, right? If this somehow goes away, it's always going to be tarnished. It's always going to be a stain on him, no matter what, man. No matter what. And I don't see any positivity coming out of this going forward. I really don't.
Well, I have to agree with you. It sounds like he's in a big mess. It's terrible, and the more you read about it, the more you're just like, wow, this goes pretty deep. But I have to roll it back a little bit. Let me roll it back a little bit, back to Howie, who said he would mortgage the future for this guy. He would give everything away. That's another question that we have to ask. The man is talented, obviously, right? But weren't the Eagles always on like, well, we have to bring in the high character guys. They have to be high character.
You're
how
right.
many people have they passed on for not being high character, right? Yep. Now, again, I don't know what happened to this guy, all right? I'm not here for judge and jury, but the information that's out there is pretty damning against him. So even if it's true or not, like you said, it'll wind up sticking with him, just like it stuck with Allen Iverson with that stupid bowling alley fight. Remember that bullshit? That followed him around forever. The same stuff will follow him around forever, regardless if it's true or not. It's a shame the situation that he's in. But if you just want to roll it back to Howie, why even have this rumor out there to even acquire this guy when he's involved in like 20-something lawsuits, right? So that's like unless they know something that we don't, unless they know a lot of them's frivolous and they're bullshit. I mean, why would they go and they make a big transaction like this to acquire a guy if they didn't know? But then again, we're assuming that they know a lot of stuff about football, and based on their boneheaded moves, we realize that they don't.
That is true. That is true. I mean, Howie could have easily came out and said, let's dispel all the rumors. Don't know where this is coming from. PR. I mean, who's their publicist? They need to hire me because their PR department has been dropping the ball lately.
It's terrible. They should hire you, bro, because you would do 1,000 times better job, because whatever they're doing, they're not doing it right. Or look, perhaps it's not the firm too, because maybe the Eagles and Howie are coming out saying, don't say anything, or only say this, or only say that. I mean, we know how much of a control freak Jeffrey Lurie is, so you can only imagine what he's probably telling him to not, what to say or what not to say.
It's a good point, Andre. The only thing that is saving Watson is that he doesn't have a wife and kids. The problem is the Shield will use players as shields when bad press comes their way. It's a great point.
That's a great point. Yeah, I couldn't.
Really good point.
Solid point.
Yeah, I have a really hard time with any of this, and I don't want to spin this completely into the other conversation, but I have such a hard time with people getting second chances in the world of professional sports when guys have been proven guilty, when guys have had issues like this, like Odubel Herrera. I refuse to say his name, but I have to just to prove this point. Guys like Joe Mixon. Right, these guys, they don't. Kareem Hunt, they don't belong, man. I'm sorry. Like for anybody, I always say this, and Mike, I think you'll relate to this too, because you have a daughter, and I have a daughter, and I know a lot of people out there that have a daughter, and maybe you have a sister, who knows? But
of course,
the fact of the matter is, if that happened to your daughter or your sister, would you want to give that person a second chance? Would you be like, yeah, he's good, man. We're good. He learned from it. No, he doesn't deserve that. Like, I'm sorry, but they're already, I don't want to say spoiled, but they're already privileged to be able to play the game they love and get paid for it. Right? They already are. And listen, you shouldn't get a second chance there. Okay, this isn't Michael Vick. Okay, this is, especially in the climate that we live in. This climate right now that we live in, it's not the time to look the other way. And if they had any set of balls, and I mean the NFL, Major League Baseball, if they had any set of balls to stand up and say, you know what? No, nobody's signing him. Nobody wants him in this league. Get him out. they would do it. But no, know what they do? They, Andre talked about the Shield earlier. They hide behind everything. They talk a good game. We're going to donate millions to domestic violence, but they do nothing about it. Nothing. And I'm tired of it. It's ridiculous.
Nah, they don't care. If the guy's a baller, they'll let him get away with it. They're going to let the guy get away with as much as they can before the backlash starts to bite them. And as soon as it starts to bite them, they'll throw them away like a piece of garbage. They've done it on how many times? So it's like you're sending mixed signals. You're sending them signals that you basically can get away with a lot in the NFL. I don't know if you read some of the stuff about these allegations against Deshaun Watson, but every one of them has to do with a spa. This guy loves he loves going to the massage parlors. This dude.
He was hanging out with Robert Kraft.
Every incident, him and Mr. Kraft, him and whoever were hanging out at these places. Every one of these things involve a massage parlor. Every one of them. It's crazy. Yeah. It's really crazy. Look, this is a very, very sensitive subject. Obviously,
it is.
I have a daughter. You have a daughter. We all know females. Come on, married. I mean, we can go on and on about this. All right. There's just no place for any of that crap. Today, 10 years ago, 1,000 years ago, whatever. It's horrible.
Yeah.
And if any of this stuff is true, and again, I'm not here to say if it's true or not, but any of this stuff is true, then he should not be. You can't be playing in the league, man. What kind of example is that?
That's a great point, Rich. I completely agree with that. He deserves a second chance in life, but not necessarily at this job. That's my point. My point is, if you want to have a second chance, that's fine. You want to go through society and learn from it, but you shouldn't be privileged enough to do what you do, especially going to get into an organization or into the entire league that's standing up against exactly what you did.
Sure.
To me, it's ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense.
Look, when you take a job like this, Rich is right. I mean, it's a trade-off, okay? I mean, you're making a lot of money. You're immediately thrust into the spotlight. You are immediately, whether you want it or not, role models for children. It doesn't matter if you want it or not. That's part of the job. That just comes with it. So your behavior can influence so many other people. And if they see, let's say, for instance, there's some high school player coming up and he's just getting ready to ball out and he could go into the NFL and he's acting shitty like this or, having some of the same behaviors as Watson and says, you know what, if he gets away with it, I'll get away with it. I mean, it just sets a bad precedent. It really does.
Yeah, it does.
I don't want this douchebag on our team.
Nope, not at all.
Hell no, absolutely not.
No.
And again, character guys, right? We don't know if this happened, so we're not here to sit here and point the finger at this guy. He might go through a court, he might be proven innocent, whatever. But some of it is true. Some of it came from some kind of truth, right? And the fact that allegations are even around a guy like this, is this a guy you want to bring into your franchise?
Where there's smoke, there's fire.
There you go.
Say it all the time, right?
Yeah,
we say it all the time.
What did Terrell Owens say? What did he say about Jeff Garcia? Something about the duck or something?
He oh my God, that was a classic.
Oh, we need to run that back.
Yeah, we got to find that. We will find that.
We need to really dive into the chaos of Terrell Owens one episode. We need to dedicate a whole episode.
Let's do that. What
really happened during that time.
I like that.
Crazy that was.
Idea. Maybe we'll do that next week.
We should. The next question, the workouts in the driveway, what all that's the letter from Andy Reid, and it was crazy town.
Dude, let me tell you something. I would love to. Let's go stuff for. Let's get T.O. on the show. You know what I'm saying?
We should.
Let's try to get T.O. on the show.
What would you ask T.O. if you had?
I would love. All I would ask him is, I want to know how the whole thing came about. That's what I want to know. No, I want to know about the money because I think, and the reason why is my whole point and my reasoning behind what he did was not because he wanted more money. I think it was because he signed a deal knowing it wasn't good. Just for the simple fact, because you remember, it was going back and forth where we're going to get him, where we're not, and then he wanted a deal. And I think it was a handshake agreement that he had that, listen, we're just going to get this out of the way now. We'll take care of you later. And he took their word for it. And then he got hurt, and they kind of went back when he came back and played, and they didn't expect him to play. They thought that was going to be their way to knock him down, not give him a new contract, and that's when he went off. And then when McNabb didn't stick up for him, that was it.
I believe that. You know what? That's a very plausible scenario. That's probably what happened. Who was the GM at the time?
He went off.
Was it Joe Banner?
Banner?
It was Banner, right? Yeah, Banner was that dude was super tight. I mean, you couldn't get anything out of him. Once you turned 30, he tossed you away like a leper. You were a column in a spreadsheet to that guy.
That was it. What's that? Mike says, like my boy tells me, if it looks like a rat, smells like a rat, by golly, it is a rat. Mike, you're right, man. I say it all the time. Listen, there is leaks that are meant to be leaked out there purposely. There's direct leaks and indirect leaks. And no matter what, a leak is a leak. And it's out there for a reason. It happened. Listen, how many months were we saying this Carson Wentz stuff was bullshit? Right, we were constantly saying that. All this stuff about him, and it's Joe Santoliquito, the writer.
He got roasted for that. Right? He got roasted for that.
Did you ever hear him? He was on the Farzi show. Shout out Farzetta, who was on here last week with us. He was on the Farzi show talking about what actually happened to him. Dude, he was getting wasn't
he getting death threats or something?
Oh, yeah. Dude, he was getting dog shit in his mailbox. Right? It was
sorry, man. I don't mean to laugh at that, but that's pretty crazy. Like Philly fans, we're animals. Animals we are.
It was crazy. Man. Unbelievable.
You know it was really crazy. And I know we're going off on a couple of tangents.
That's all right. We're just having fun here,
we have a very open mic night tonight, right?
Yeah.
The defenders of Wentz. All that. Like when that article came out, man, I mean, you were either on one side or you were on the other side. And apparently the locker room was really like that too. The locker room was divided. And it was almost, I never seen the locker room more divided. And at least we didn't get the information that we got back when Hugh Douglas almost smashed Terrell Owens. Yeah. Remember how divided that locker room was? I mean, you were either on McNabb's side or you were on Owens' side. And Westbrook kind of got thrown in the middle there. That's who we got to get on the show. We got to get B West on the show.
I'm trying. Yeah. I've been trying, man. I'll be honest with you. B West is he's a good guy, but he doesn't do things lightly. He's a very busy guy too. So, but I would love to get him on, man.
Absolutely.
I'd like to get Hugh on. I'd like to get Hugh Douglas on just to hear his side. Right?
I don't think he would. He's not the type of guy that would hold anything back. Him. He would just let it go.
He would let it fly, man. 100%. But Vinny says, before I get to Vinny, Rich says too many broken promises to T.O. Exactly. Completely agree. Vinny, rumor has it Banner still has his first dollar. He probably does. I wouldn't doubt that.
He's the one that Howie Rosen was Joe Banner's intern. I mean, that was the guy that was supposed to take over for the magnificent bean counter, and he did forever. And now all of a sudden he got the Eagles completely backwards in the salary cap.
He's getting what happened to that? That definitely wasn't a Joe Banner move.
No, for sure.
No, right? Andre says T.O. signed that deal easily because of the endorsement money was triple his salary. Then when they didn't honor their word, exactly. I'm telling you, you're absolutely right, Andre. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah,
they knew it.
Next question.
Yep, they knew it. The rat quote was T.O. talking about Jeff Garcia.
Oh, that's right.
Okay, that's it. That was it.
That's right. That's right. I remember the T.O. interviews for that. And I also remember the T.O. interviews when he said something about my name ain't Reed, talking about my last name ain't Reed. When he got the letter from Andy Reid.
Oh,
my last name ain't Reed.
There was so much drama. And Rich, you're right. The Carsonites still defend him even now. You know how many people block me on Twitter because I wouldn't defend Carson Wentz?
Oh, yeah.
Legit got blocked by supposedly people I'm associated with at a radio station, which is absolutely ridiculous.
Because of that?
Because of Carson Wentz. Because of Carson Wentz.
Let's talk about that for a minute. Why the blind defense of this guy? Why do people think he got a raw deal? Granted, he balled out in 2017. Granted, we got the first round bye because of what he did. Granted, he crushed it against the Rams and threw a touchdown pass on a blown out ACL or whatever. He did all that. Okay, great. He did. But what else did he do to deserve all that? Like outside of that, I'm not saying what he didn't do was a lot. It was a lot. But what else did he do?
Exactly. What else did he do? Let me tell you something. Listen, and I don't mean this in any derogatory way.
Oh, he starts off with that, a zinger's coming.
But just because he's a church-going guy and he talks very professional, and he loves everybody. Everybody thinks this guy's invincible.
Yep.
Stop. Right, Rich? See, I didn't even – Rich is putting this in or before he just said it's the Christian – yep. Exactly. Rich, that is my point. The whole Christianity angle is what elevates Carson to a different realm. Just like Nick Foles, right? Just like Nick Foles. Nick Foles is the good old boy, right? I'm sorry. Nobody in this world is perfect. Nobody. And I'll tell you what, if Carson Wentz literally did say after that Green Bay game that he checked out, he was done, I'm not going to get on a Carson tangent here, but I don't want him. Okay? Because that means he just gave up. He legit gave up.
Well, that report came from Marcus Hayes, and whatever he reports, we believe because Marcus, we all know Marcus is the man. So I'm sure he said it.
Yep,
I'm sure he said it.
Yeah,
I don't want him either, Tony. You're right. You're right. After he said that, come on.
It's a shame, but let's get into some baseball talk before we get to some stiffs. And the reason I want to get to some baseball talk because I am thoroughly excited for the Philadelphia Phillies this year. And for one reason, and his name is Bryce Harper. I love Bryce Harper. Not only am I a Bryce guy, but I think this year, he is going to have a historic season for the Philadelphia Phillies. Now, people thought I was nuts today, and I love it because – again, I know John's not here, but Mike knows you by now. I like to throw some stuff out there, and it's a little over the top sometimes, but I have that gut feeling. I love it. I have a gut feeling. I'm telling you, this year, I'm predicting 42 to 45 home runs, 120, 125 RBIs. This dude is going to go off. As long as he can stay healthy and play 155, 156 games like I expect him to do, he is absolutely going to tear the cover off the ball this year. Bryce Harper, it took a year. He got acclimated to the city. The next year, COVID hit. Really couldn't get in the swing of things. Now he's ready. Hits a home run for the first at bat in spring. Mike, I'm telling you, I got this feeling. I don't know what it is, but this is Bryce Harper's year.
Why not? I mean, the guy rolls up in a gas station at Clearwater, full uniform on, Bryce Harper, and just gets gas and then gets back into his Jeep. Dude's playing super loose. I love that story when I read about that. I'm like,
and that nice,
such a big deal out of it. I'm like, I don't know. He had to stop and get gas. Harper just gets out with his uniform, gets gas, and rolls. I don't know. It seems loose.
Yep.
When you do stuff like that, it tells you a little bit about your mindset, right? And I agree with you. He seems at home now. He seems loose, and he's obviously very dangerous. So I don't disagree with you at all. He
has got a violent swing.
Violent is a great way to describe his swing. It's he just hits the snot out of the ball.
Yes. He swings so violently through the zone. It's unlike something I've never seen. I've never seen somebody swing a bat like that. Like he legit looking to take somebody's head off. He really is. And I love it. It actually makes the bat look like it's 10 times bigger, but it's not. It's just the way he swings.
It's nasty. It's all power and mentally. I think you said that, and let's talk about that for a minute.
Yep.
I know that what about all that drama last year when Harper was sort of standing up for Real Muto, and he was coming out just saying the ownership should sign and stupid money. What about all that? And then JT signs, and then they sort of made good, regardless of how it broke out with the contract. We can sit here and we can say whatever we want, but he did sign. He's there. The commitment was made, and now ownership has given Bryce Harper the commitment when they signed him. So I think he clearly enters the season as an MVP candidate, and you could see the Phillies playing in October. I mean, it's just that simple. I mean, I except for your boy Odubel Herrera, who looks like he's. I know you can't stand that guy, but
no,
he's had his share of
Harper swing to his head.
This douchebag now, but he looks like he's going to be he's going to win the job, and he's going to be playing.
Yeah, it does. It looks like that. Adam, 50 plus. Listen, 50 plus, that's a big, but I'm with you. I'm that excited. I mean, I'm saying 42, 45, but I'm with you. He could listen, the Ryan Howard year, right? A 4-year period that we talk about, which was just so ridiculous numbers, but the Ryan Howard year where he hit 55 plus.
55, yeah.
That's the kind of year I feel is the Bryce Harper that we're going to see this year.
Was that 2010?
Was it 10?
I think so.
Nah, I think it was it 2010. I thought it was 2007.
Oh, maybe it was.
Yeah, I think it was 2007. Anybody out there, look that up for us, please. I know he had a 4-year period that will be like no other. I did the numbers a few years ago. I'll have to do them again. But what he was able to hit, the home runs, RBIs, it was absolutely ridiculous. It'll never be duplicated. Another guy, yeah. Mike says no. I think it was 2007. Yeah, I think it was 07 too. I think it was the year before the World Series. And he just went. He was going all. Everything must have looked like a beach ball to him. Yeah. Really. And Mike, you have a good point. Mike says his violent swing is my one worry back, and you're right because he swings so damn violently. You're right. You're absolutely. I could see that. I really could. Because of the way he swings. Dan says Howard. Yeah, 58. Yep. At 2006. Howard said then he never saw for a month in 2000. That's crazy.
Yeah, remember that pitch that Howard would always strike out on? It was the low inside curveball he couldn't hit and he couldn't lay off it. He could not lay off of that pitch.
No.
It was he couldn't strike out every time.
He was like Serrano in Major League.
Even Joe Boo couldn't help Ryan Howard.
He can't hit curveball.
Joe Boo don't help me. I read a report that said Serrano is the second highest jersey ever sold for the Cleveland Indians. I don't know if it's true or not, but it really wouldn't surprise me.
No, it wouldn't, because we always live through fairy tales, right? And think about that. We live through fairy tales all the time. I mean, listen, we're a Philly centric show, right? Rocky. It's a fictional character.
That's true.
But we lived through Rocky Balboa.
Who does Cleveland have? I got a friend of mine lives in Cleveland. I'm going to have to ask him that. I'm sure he has a Serrano jersey. What did you just say?
Drew Carey.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know nothing from Cleveland. I mean,
nobody does. It's Cleveland.
Yeah, Wild Thing. Yeah. Yep. Rick Vaughn.
And Dorn and Roger Dorn.
Lou Brown.
Major League's the best.
Lou Brown. Who was the old pitcher? Who was
Harris.
Harris. That's it. Hey, Joe Boo. Joe Boo needs a refill.
Are you saying Jesus Christ can't hit a curveball?
Jake Taylor.
A classic show, man.
Jake. Willie Mays Hayes. That was a great movie, man.
Great. Yeah, that was a whole episode on them.
That was one of those movies where the sequel sucked.
You know what? It's funny. I never saw the sequel because I didn't want it to ruin the original. The original was so good. I heard the sequel was horrible.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't good at all. It was like one of those movies where you were expecting a lot, and I think not all the characters re-signed, so you didn't have the same group of guys, right? But Rick Vaughn, where were you playing last year, Vaughn? California Penal League. Like, I mean, it was yeah. There you go. Best sport. That's what we talks. Best sports sequel. Caddyshack 2. That's a good one. I like that. I like Caddyshack too. That was pretty good.
It's been so long since I've seen that.
Rich says, isn't it so sad we can't name any real players, but we name all the movie names? Yeah, I'll tell you. You're right, Rich. That's the problem. I was doing, here you go, Mike, because on Sunday, again, everybody tune in. Make sure you watch the weekly sports blend every Sunday, where I look back at years every week. And last week it was 1993, and 93 was a huge movie year, huge sports movie year. It's your Space Jam, the Program, Rookie of the Year.
The Program was great.
Rudy. Yeah, Program was unbelievable. Very underrated sports movie right there. A lot of people never seen the Program. James Caan movie was spectacular. It was a really, really good movie. The other one was the two Disney movie, Rookie of the Year and The Sandlot. Henry Rowan-Gardner.
The Rosenberger.
I didn't like The Sandlot. I didn't like The Sandlot.
No, you said Rowan-Gardner. That was the rookie.
Yeah, Rookie of the Year. Right, Henry Rowan-Gardner.
Yeah, Rowan-Gardner. But remember the coach couldn't get his name right? He would call him Rosenberger.
Yeah. Who was the old Ched Stedman? Was it
Ched Stedman? Oh my God!
I don't remember this shit.
Who was the coach of the Rookie of the Year? Was it Sidney Poitier? Was it? No, it wasn't him.
Sidney Poitier?
I don't think it was him.
I think you're right. That's a great pull, dude. Wow. Sidney Poitier. Wow.
Check it out. Everybody, even Andre said the Program was good, but apparently Rotten Tomatoes thinks it was horrible, like a 43% rating. I thought the Program was great.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know.
I liked it, man.
Of course.
Al says, "What? Hey, Al, you're right. Any Given Sunday. That I don't know. Never go wrong with Al Pacino.
1999, late 90s is Any Given Sunday, which to me is one of the best sports movies ever made, if not the top two.
That is a really good movie.
Oh man, that was great. Al Pacino's speech, just pull it up on YouTube if you want to get hyped. Watch it. Yeah, it was great.
You know, speaking of Pacino, and again, it's sports related because it's more with gambling, but Two for the Money.
Was it?
Oh, that is
Matthew
McConaughey and Al Pacino.
Yeah, based on a true story, loosely, right? I think.
Yes. Yep. Really, really good. Look, there you go, Rich. It was Gary Busey was Chet Stedman.
Stedman, that's a nice pull. That's when Gary Busey couldn't do anything he touched was great.
Yes.
He just crushed it on everything, right? It's when he was in Under Siege. Remember? He was one great movie after the next. The Lethal Weapon he was in. He crushed it.
Then he was doing cameos in Entourage.
He was in Entourage with Bob Saget.
Yeah, Bob Saget. Dan says Slapshot. Now that's an old one. That's I knew you would get that, Dan, because that's a hockey movie. Slapshot.
Yeah, everybody loves Slapshot, man.
Yep.
You know, it's been so long since I've seen it, but it's considered gold in sports.
Yeah, a lot of people love Slapshot. But speaking of these movies, man, and we talked about some actors, talk about Chet Stedman. Let's get to some stiffs. We're gonna talk some stiffs tonight. We're gonna open this up. What does Rich say? He's on Impractical Joker's cameo now.
Yeah, he's crazy. He's crazy, this dude. What the hell happened to him?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
The guy was like, if you watch him in Lethal Weapon, right, and you watch him in Under Siege, it was like, you know, the dude, even like in what was the movie with the classic movie with Keanu Reeves, the surfing movie, Point Break. He was great in that too.
That's right. He was in Point Break.
He was in Point Break, dude. He was Pappas. Utah, get me too. Iconic line. And then what happened? Drugs? The guy just went crazy at some point.
Yeah,
all of a sudden, Gary Busey was just this crazy guy. He was in this actor that was in every movie, and they just turned to like crazy.
And sometimes you were like, "Is that Nick Nolte or is that Gary Busey?"
Exactly, Nick Nolte.
Like, we weren't sure which one it was, right? Yeah. Adam says Longest Yard. That was another good movie.
Yeah, I forgot about that one.
Longest Yard was a good movie. What about Blue Chips?
Blue Chips. Wasn't Shaq in that movie?
Shaq was in that movie. Nick Nolte, Anthony Hardaway was in that movie.
What about the Replacements?
That you know what? That was okay.
Shane Falco. Okay. Can we put him on the stiff list?
Yes.
Just go to Google and put in Shane Falco, and there's actually questions in the Google. Is Shane Falco a real person? Where did Shane Falco go to college? Like, what the frig is wrong with people? Really?
I wonder if that's real. Mike says he has a brain injury from a motorcycle accident.
Shane Falco?
No, I think he's talking about Gary
Busey.
Yeah,
if Mike says that, it's true. He's very good at his due diligence. So I guess I guess that makes sense because he was Gary Busey, and then all of a sudden he was crazy.
Keanu Reeves' awful throwing motion.
Yeah, he doesn't have good mechanics. That Mr. Falco.
I don't know who had a worse. How about the quarterback from the Waterboy? What was his name from the Mud Dogs? The Mud Dogs. The Mud Dogs. Yeah.
Oh my God, I haven't heard that forever. The Waterboy quarterback for the Mud Dogs.
The Mud Dogs. Get them, Mud Dogs.
At the Bourbon Bowl.
The Bourbon Bowl. Yes, you can do it. Oh wow, Buey's look at check that out.
Oh wow, there it is.
That's great, man.
Sorry,
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. It's funny. It just the dude was like the man, and all of a sudden he wasn't.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I'll tell you what, we could, I'm a big sports movie guy, but some of them were really weak. Some of them were really good. And we talked about this before. Playmakers was the best series ever. Adam, you're right. Hoosiers and Field of Dreams, they're classics.
I forgot about Field of Dreams. That's a classic.
Field of Dreams. Hoosiers one of my all-time favorites. Dennis Hopper, all drunked up with Gene Hackman, the Hickory Town Boys,
the Hickory Town Boys,
Hickory Town Boys. Ollie at the line, missing the foul shots. Scooter was his name. Scooter, you got this.
Scooter.
We're gonna run a picket fence. We're gonna run a picket fence. and they actually win the game. That was a great movie, man.
That was a great movie. What about Moneyball?
Moneyball. There's another. Yeah, that's a newer one. It's a really good movie. How you going to mention Blue Chips got the MVP of the movie Big Country?
Big Country.
Big Country, man. And Jimmy Chipwood.
Jimmy Chipwood.
Right?
Yeah.
I remember Jimmy Chipwood in Hoosiers. Absolutely.
Friday Night Lights. Friday Night Lights is
another one. Yep.
That's a good one. Remember the Titans. Let's see.
The blind.
White men can't jump. Classic.
Classic movie. White Man Can't Jump was the best, man.
Oh, absolutely.
I could watch that over and over again.
A League of Their Own, Varsity Blues.
You know what I hate about it? Because I have Vanderbeek in it, and he's a douche. I don't like him.
He's not. I wasn't my favorite guy. What was that show that he was on with Katie Holmes forever?
Dawson's Creek.
Were you a Dawson's
I actually watched that. I watched it.
I figured
I was a Dawson's Creek guy. Him and Pacey.
He went for years. He's probably still eating off the residuals for that show.
No doubt. Absolutely. Because all his movies sucked.
Yeah, he wasn't very good with his movies, but he obviously was with Katie Holmes for so long, and that sort of put him on the map.
I would have rocked out with Katie Holmes on the acting role for a while. She was a heartbreaker back in the day. Until
she went and met Tom Cruise and became sucked into Scientology. Jerry Maguire.
Jerry Maguire showing the money.
That's right, Al. We forgot about Jerry Maguire.
And don't forget about He Got Game. Jesus Shuttlesworth.
Yeah. What was his girlfriend's name? What was her character's name? It was Rosario Dawson. Her character's name was Lala, I think. I think it was Lala. Yeah. Great show, by the way. Believe it or not, that's when Ray Allen, I don't think he ever even acted in a movie before.
No, I don't think he did.
And he actually did really well.
He did. Great soundtrack, by the way.
Yes.
The Public Enemy rocked out on that soundtrack.
Of
bro.
course.
That was a great soundtrack.
Wow.
What Rich says, the fish that saved Pittsburgh. I don't even know what the hell that is. I have no idea.
What the hell?
I don't know, Rich. You're losing me there, bro.
Hold on. Let's just do a quick little. The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh is an American sports fantasy comedy film.
Really?
That was released in 1979. Never heard of it, but let's see. Starring Julius Erving.
Oh yeah, right. He just wrote that in movie with Dr. J.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right. Pretty
Check that out. Oh, I knew Andre knew that. Look, he was all over that.
Wow, that's pretty cool. That's something to maybe check out.
Adam, A League of Their Own.
Yeah, I mentioned that one. Is that considered? We have to consider that. I don't know, man. For me, that was a classic. There was a lot of good actors in there.
Yes,
actresses.
No, it was a good movie, and again, but 42 was a good movie. It really relived the whole Jackie Robinson story.
Excellent.
That was a really good movie.
Excellent.
Because that brought everything to light, which was great. Dr. J was in The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh. Yeah, I
never even heard of that. Yeah,
never even seen that.
Goes to show you how good of a very good Sixers fan to not know that. That's super old school, no doubt. Did you ever see that movie with Tanya Harding?
Oh my God, no!
It was a movie about Tanya Harding. Remember all that stuff?
Her and Nancy Kerrigan.
Yeah, when her boyfriend smashed Nancy Kerrigan's knee with like a pipe or something, they jacked her on the way into the skating thing.
Yeah,
I feel like that shit really happened. I remember when all that stuff happened.
That really happened. That's the thing. Like legit happened.
Totally attacked Nancy Kerrigan, an Olympian, smashed her knee with a friggin' pipe.
Yeah, Mike.
And then she went out. Tanya Harding went out and won the event. She skated like the best she's ever skated. They just attacked Nancy Kerrigan.
He wants you to talk about the sex tape, but.
Oh yeah, with Tanya and her husband at the time, her boyfriend. Remember this douche, Jeff Gillooly?
Oh my God! Yes.
Oh yeah.
Wow, that you're right though, man. Movies called Tanya. Love Rich is all over it. Look at Andre. Rick Fox was in He Got Game. Rick Fox. Good for
the ladies used to love Rick Fox.
Oh, of course they did.
Rick Fox was smooth.
What? Wait, was he married to Halle Berry?
I think that was David Justice.
Oh, David Justice.
Justice. Yeah.
What about Rudy? Yeah, we met. Al, I mentioned that. Rudy
said that earlier.
Listen, Rudy gives me shed a tear
You still have to watch Rudy. All right, let me throw this out there. Does this rank? Does Invincible rank?
Ooh, what's the Eagle guy, right?
Vince Papale.
Vince Papale. Yeah, I'm sorry. We're drawing a blank there. Yeah. I don't know, man. I mean,
I got a story about him.
Yeah, talk. Let's hear.
It's pretty interesting. So, Coach Vermeil had a wine release. He had his wine release a couple of years ago, and I somehow got invited to this thing. Which, believe it or not, I just don't even know how I did. But anyway, I wound up there, and it was about 50 people at this. The release of his private wine. So I guess he bought a vineyard or he did a licensing deal. Dick Vermeil owns his own wine. So anyway, it's really good stuff too, by the way. And I happened to be sitting next to. At the dinner, it was my wife and I, and Vince Papale was sitting next to me. Okay. And obviously I knew who he was, but I didn't want to act like the douchebag starstruck guy. So Vince Papale, he gets a couple of wines in him, and all of a sudden he's like friggin' juiced up, right? And he's like all loud and he's talking, and he just looks over. He's like, "How you doing?" I said, "Oh, I'm doing great." And anyway, I had to ask him this question. I saw the moment I asked. I said, "Do you mind if I ask you a personal question?" He said, "No, not at all." And there's a lot of people like talking. It's really hard to, it's just a party. Everybody's hanging out. It's a dinner party. So I said, what was it like when you picked up that fumble and you scored a touchdown and you looked over at your boys in the stands knowing that you were a lifelong Eagle fan or whatever? And he looked at me and he said, "No one ever asked me that question." How about that?
Really?
He said that to me.
Wow.
And then I said, and I see, he's like, he sort of like not teared up, but a little bit. It was like a little of emotion. I said, "Wow, really?" And he said, "No one ever asked me." I said, "What was like?" He said, "Fucking beautiful." Really? It was beautiful. I cried, he said. Jumping up and down, I was crying. So the dude was like super, super cool, man. So I mean, just for that, I think I have to.
I like that because it shows
personal
a passion.
Story.
It shows a passion that he had too, right? I mean, he was all in. I mean, that was like on a Sunday, me, Andre, and Al, we were doing half court heat, and I was letting them know about, Saturday, Deuce Staley was on with Ray Didinger, and he was on for about 40 minutes. They asked him, and you'll respect this because I know how big of an Eagles fan you are. So they asked him about the Tampa game.
Oh, man.
Right?
Oh, I was at that game.
When they asked him about it, they thought they lost him, like he got disconnected. There was no words for like a minute, and he was like, "I'm sorry, fellas, I was gathering my thoughts." Like he's like he still felt it, and he went on like, bro, listen, that's how big of a deal that was, that game, and that's a real Eagle, man, right? That's a real Eagle.
And who better to ask that question than the king? Like, to me, yes. Ray Didinger's the king. Will always be the king. But
it was
he
great.
Asked that question and he got all choked up because he probably had so many things he wanted to say, or he was probably feeling so much. I remember being at that game. I remember being at up in the 700 level with my dad sitting there, and we brought with us 2 Philadelphia Inquirers so we can put them down on the concrete to have our feet on top of the concrete so our feet wouldn't freeze. Because if you stepped on newspaper up there on the 700 level, it kept your feet a little bit warmer because it was so cold up there, man. I mean, freezing cold. So when Deuce Staley ran that first touchdown and he gets into the end zone, I'm telling you right now, everybody in that whole stadium thought we were going to win that game. And then it was a slow paper cut bleed with that stupid play from Joe Juravicius, and he destroyed us with that same dumb play over and over again that we could not adjust to Joe Juravicius.
Joe Juravicius.
Nightmare that was for me. And it was for Staley too, because by you just telling me that, I know he felt worse than what we felt in the stands.
Yes. He absolutely, because they all felt what we felt. That was their year. That was it, man. That was it. That was their year. For those bookends and Runyon and Trey. I mean, that was their year, man. And
you couldn't adjust.
No,
you couldn't adjust, bro. He was running over the middle. And you could see that when you break down the tape, it was so easy what they were doing. They were pulling the linebacker out in motion, and they would pull him out of there, and he would run over the middle. He would just do it every time, over and over and over and over and over again. It was worse than any nightmare, any worse loss. That was just terrible.
So wait, was that Brad Johnson? Is that Brad Johnson too?
God, I think it was. I think it was
Oh.
Brad Johnson.
Oh.
I think it was Brad Johnson.
That makes it even worse. Brad Johnson.
Brad Johnson. It was John Gruden too, wasn't it?
Yeah. God,
It was John Gruden. And that was the year when Gruden was talking shit and he was like, we'll play, because I know that there was an issue about where they were going to play. There was something up. I don't remember. He's like, I don't care if we play him on the Wall Whitman Bridge. We're going to play him. He was talking all that shit. And then he knew exactly how to hit us. And then oh God, so bad. We should have won. So the fact that you told me that, I'm for sure he was feeling it, man.
And you know what, Dan? Blame bleeping Bishop on the field. Blame
that. I had him as a stiff.
Remember that?
I had him as a stiff tonight.
But we were excited. I remember when we got him. I thought he was really good. Played all those good years in Tennessee. We're like, oh yeah, Blaine Bishop, man, yeah. We got Blaine, and he was stiff.
Yeah, you know, come to the Eagles. You have a 80% chance of being completely horrible, regardless of whatever you've done in the past. It doesn't matter if you were the MVP, if you just crushed the league. When you come and you put that Eagles green on, chances are you're just going to suck. You're just going to suck because that's the way it goes. Killed us all day long. Richard's right. He destroyed us all day long.
Mike, you're right. Mike I listened to it live too, Mike, and it made me yep, I agree. He was very impressed. And you know what? Deuce was humble too. Like he could have, he was welcoming the opportunity. You know, he knows he'll be there one. But again, he should, if you can't tell me, and I don't want to get, but this is what's going to piss me off, thinking about this even more, is you mean to tell me that Nick Sirianni was a better option than Deuce Staley? I'm sorry. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't know. I don't get it. You know, I don't understand it.
I need to watch it.
It sucks that this guy's in Detroit right now. He should not be in Detroit.
Oh, he's an Eagle. You know, he's an Eagle. I just didn't know if he was capable. Who knew? I mean, maybe we should have been listening to this guy. I wasn't sure whether or not Deuce would be a good guy. Well, what the hell do I know? Hopefully nobody listens to me about any of this shit. But I mean, you would just think that if he was that good, all right, and I don't know who brought this up. Somebody brought it up. But if he was that good and he would have been hired somewhere else, he would have been hired fast. But maybe nobody just gave him a chance. I don't know.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
Who knows? I would rather have somebody that answered that question by Ray Didinger like that, somebody that felt it, somebody that didn't, because you know during a press conference, if they took a loss like that, you wouldn't get any Vanell answers. You wouldn't get any Vanell. Levon Kirkland. Oh, my God. He should be on the stiff list too. When we got him, he was like 75 pounds overweight, and he just stunk.
He was terrible.
Terrible.
I like, oh my God. I can't. I can't, man. You think about it. Love Goose gets rolled. That's Mike, man. Listen. Me and Mike used to sit and talk about this all the time, man. I
can't help it. I just you know. I mean, I figured that I would say that please, if the Eagles win this, I remember when the Super Bowl. If they win this, I'll never ever complain about the Eagles again. It didn't take too long, only about a year or so, and I started bitching again. Can't help it.
You can't. We're a fan. Byron Maxwell. Was a stiff. And you know what? Remember, he went to Miami and he played good.
Of course. Well, we know as soon as they listen, if you're good, right, on another team and you come to the Eagles, you immediately suck. But then if you leave the Eagles and you still have a few years on your career, you'll do really well. That's just the way it goes.
It is. It's so right. It's so right. But listen, that's a good segue to our stiff contest here. Not contest, but a little stiff segment to end the close.
I know you got good ones. You got good ones.
We're gonna have some fun with this, right? Last couple minutes here. We did this about maybe 10, 11 shows back. We had a great Cherokee Parks, right? We had Greg Oster tag. We had some really good stuff. I had to go in deep in the vault here and bring up some ultimate stiffs. Now, these could be stiffs that are coaches. These could be stiffs that are players, not necessarily a specific sport, but just ultimate stiffs in my book. Maybe they were good, but I just didn't like their name or their hairstyle or the way they the way they looked. I don't know, but that's the fun. So here we go. See, Dan, you need it. Dan says, see, Dan, that's a bad comment, Dan. You know what? I need a stiff segment. Married to.
Oh, Jesus.
Damn, Dan. Hey, you hit it like that? Come on. Namdi Asamoah, Rich says already. Yep. Yeah, he's on the stiff list, Rich. He's definitely on the stiff list.
We certainly cannot disagree with that one.
But we can we just start off with a great one, right? I mean, we're in the Eagles, so let's just. I mean, Rich Kotite, come on,
Jesus.
like I
want
is
that
he
hat.
not right? Is he not the ultimate stiff for the Eagles? I mean, Mike,
Rich Kotite?
yes.
It's yeah, man. He was pretty bad. And Marion Campbell was terrible too.
Oh.
But I don't know how far back we go there, but he was terrible. But Kotite, everybody goes back to Kotite.
Yes.
Everybody goes back to him. His press conferences are great. You ever listen to them?
Oh, brutal.
They're so bad.
I mean, he had
so bad.
He literally, it seemed like some guys are in over their head, but he honestly looked like he had no clue, zero of what to do. Like it's like they just handed on a job. He had no clue.
I don't think he did. I don't think he knew what was going on. I mean, his press conferences were, and I hate to say it, but it was like Sirianni when I remember when that press conference happened. It was like, this guy is, and look, he's new. He probably doesn't know what's going on. That's cool. We got to give him a pass somewhat, right? But let's just hope he's not a Kotite, man. Jeez.
I hope not. I hope not. But, it's from one Eagle stiff coach to another. And we've talked about this name.
I love this guy.
Right?
Look at this spark plug.
I mean Marty Mornhinweg, like, I don't he is the NFL's version of Stan Van Gundy in the NBA. Like, I don't know how these guys continue to get jobs.
Survivors, man. Survivors.
They know, it's funny because, again, and this is no disrespect to anybody, but anybody that understands the radio business, the podcasting business, whatever you want to call it, you understand that you get opportunities sometimes based on just who you know, not honestly, not really how good you are sometimes. It's just about who you know. And I swear that Stan Van Gundy and Marty Mornhinweg is a straight who do you know? Because I don't know any other benefit that they give. Really. I really have no idea. But he was really, really bad.
Marty Mornhinweg and maybe Van Gundy, maybe they have the same agent.
Yeah, they might. They might. They really might. I mean, listen.
I mean, this guy was on the team last year.
And here's the best part. As a special offensive advisor. Who the hell is he advising? Like, seriously, who is Marty Mornhinweg advising?
Apparently, somebody advised the Eagles to get rid of him because I mean, I just don't get it. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know.
Imagine if they would have kept him around and gave him the interim head coaching job when it got rid of Tom.
I mean, he didn't get hired anywhere. No, there was no interest in the guy
because nobody else wants him. Nobody wants him. Nobody wants him. It's crazy. It's crazy. But here's a football one. You know who this is, Mike?
Oh God, I don't know who that is, and I know I should. I have no idea who that is. Let somebody guess. The infamous
Rod Marinelli. Rod Marinelli, who completely drowned in Detroit in his head coaching gig, was absolutely terrible. He hung around the Cowboys as a coordinator, and then he got a shot. He wasn't good. He wasn't good at all. And I know everybody says it's because Detroit, but no, this was all Rod. Rod wasn't a good coach. Listen, I think it was like right after the Wayne Fontenot years. So he really didn't he really didn't help himself much.
Just the Fontenot name is just doesn't work.
I'll tell you what, Wayne could be on the stiff list.
Could be.
He could be. But this guy, look at it. It's Coy Detmer.
We got in front of Coy Detmer for a while. Remember? I mean, Coy Detmer was like he was throwing some touchdowns.
Remember when he got hit on Monday Night Football?
Oh my!
He got killed.
He got crushed.
He was like, I thought he was complete. Like, I thought he was having a seizure on the field.
He got crushed.
And then remember, you'd hear the reports coming out that he would go to track. He had no luggage and he would just show up with a plastic bag,
a backpack or something, right?
Yeah,
he had like a couple of t-shirts and some underwear stuff in there.
And he would stop by the duty free store and grab a toothbrush and a thing of toothpaste, and he was good to go. I mean,
I guess there's something to be said for that.
I guess, man. I guess. But I got a couple more here. We'll go basketball. And
Are you just going funny names or?
Eric Montross from the North Carolina Tar Heels.
That's a guy I haven't seen in a long time.
Yeah, he might have had an okay time in North Carolina, but he was still a stiff to me, man. He was still a stiff to me. Here's one for you, Mike. Know who that is?
No.
The Flying Dutchman, Jack Sikma. Jack Sikma. Look at the old school Mahorn right here too. I didn't even notice that. Rick Mahorn.
Look at his shot.
Yeah, dude. Jack.
Who used to shoot the ball like that? Somebody. I can't think of who it was, but somebody used to shoot the ball like that. That looks like a Glenn Rice shot?
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. Rich checks in and says John Koncak. Hey, Dan, listen, I understand. I'm not saying Sikma was bad. I just don't like his look. I'm just I'm just talking about he just looks like a stiff. He may not be a stiff, just looks like a stiff to me, right? And I know he was kind of emulating that back old school style, but I'm sorry, Flying Dutchman. It was that the Flying Dutchman? Was Rick Smits the Flying Dutchman?
It looks like him. I
think it was. Jamal Wilkes shot like that. Wow.
Jamal Wilkes.
Wow. Okay, so I got one more, Mike. I got one more. Jamarcus Russell.
He's the biggest stiff in the history of the NFL, no?
Yes, 100%, man. And look, I'm not trying to. I know he went through a bunch, but I mean, come on, man. You were rocking at LSU. You come in, you all the money in the world, and you just ultimate stiff. Him and Ryan Leaf, who I know Rich mentioned down here. Oh wow, look at that. Andre coming out with a G-man, Mike Jaminski. I like that. Then Mike says, is Jamarcus or Ryan? I don't know. Ryan Leaf gets arrested and Jamarcus lives under a bridge. So I don't know which one.
He
was. Yeah, he was homeless and everything, man.
God,
he had no money. He was living under a bridge in Oakland. Yes.
I hope that's not the case.
It's crazy. Not now. Like kind of like the Delonte West story, except he wasn't on, Jamarcus, it wasn't a drug addiction or anything like that. He was broke. He lost all his money and nothing. No money because, again, we all talk about these big deals these players sign, but guess what? Some of them, if they're not fully guaranteed, so if they didn't get a big signing bonus, I mean, he wasn't playing. He got cut. Maybe he only made a couple million. After he paid everybody off, he probably had nothing left. Kwame Brown. That's Kwame a good
Brown one. He was a stiff.
Yes.
What happened to him? That dude was super hyped coming out.
He was hyped.
He was massively hyped, and then he
was hyped. So you got who you got? Mike, you got anybody?
I got a few. Orlando Woolridge for the
Sixers. The Big O. The Big O.
I gotta go Orlando Woolridge.
I like Orlando. Actually, Orlando had a weird looking shot too. He had that Jack Stickman kind of shot.
Yeah, he did. It's been some time, and I remember when the Sixers signed him, it was like at the end of his career, and he was I think his number was like 0 or something. He was just complete stiff, roster filler, just a complete joke.
Wow. Mike says Jamarcus got $32 million guaranteed. That's a lot of cash.
Well, he's living in California, right? So tack on about 13.5% state income tax. He's probably at a 35. About half of that went to the tax man. So he probably about at 16 million cash plus whatever endorsements he had. Like he blew through all that.
Wow, that's crazy.
I guess $16 million is a lot of money, right? When you think about it, like how do these people do that? But when when you go out and you buy a house, a nice house for an NFL baller in California, you write a check for $5 million. I mean, now you're already down to 11 million. You're handing it out, you're partying, you're doing this, you're doing that. If you're not constantly pulling in money like that, it just goes. I guess that's what happened to them. That's just terrible. They should lock up all their money for people that don't know how to deal with cash and just
they should. They should. But the problem is the people that are supposed to be helping them were hurting them. Heath Schuler. Al, that's a great one.
He was super hyped coming out. He was he wasn't the first overall pick, wasn't he, for the Redskins?
Yes.
God, he stunk.
Was it the Redskins?
I think
It
so.
was the
I
Redskins.
think it was the Redskins. He stunk. He was terrible.
How about Bobby Hebert from the
Bobby Hebert,
There you
New
go.
Orleans Saints. Didn't he beat the Eagles in the
Yeah,
playoffs?
he did. Who did beat the Eagles back then?
He beat the Buddy Ryan team, didn't he?
Yes. Yep. Bobby Hebert.
Friggin' Bobby Hebert.
Check that one out.
Creole.
Tony Massenberg. Oh my God.
Where did that name come from? That was the last time I heard that.
Ron Popeye Jones. There's a good one. Ron Popeye Jones. Jesus. Who else you got, Mike?
How about Quentin Caver?
Oh my God.
Quentin Caver.
Quentin Caver.
What do you think, Mr.
Mr.
Caver's up to today?
Oh my! Remember he was a prototypical undersized linebacker that we would always draft.
Always.
Quentin Caver was terrible.
Terrible.
It was second round pick.
Yep.
How about Andy Studebaker?
What?
Yeah,
I heard that name in years.
Andy Studebaker.
Yeah.
Another undersized linebacker that couldn't play.
Couldn't play. Yeah, we're notorious for drafting those. Let's move into and I dropped this name earlier. Randy Reddy. Let's go into
Reddy.
Let's go into MLB a little bit.
Oh, I'll give you his counterpart too. How about the big David West?
David West.
The Big Bird. They called him Big Bird coming out of the pen.
Danny Tartable.
That one pitch.
One pitch,
man.
One pitch. You know what? I'm gonna throw this out there too. Because when they hired him, okay, I thought this guy was the biggest stiff ever. And I'll still say it. And I don't care what kind of success he had before or when he left. Gabe Kapler. And I'm going to tell you why. Okay? I don't know if you realize this. And I know this came out a lot because Howard Eskin pounded this dude. But I don't know if you remember. And it's probably still up there. He had a blog. Okay? He had a blog where he was talking about the various uses of coconut oil. Do you remember this weird story that went around when Kapler was hired?
Yes.
Okay, so I didn't refer to him as Gabe Kapler. To me, to my son, to all the friends, I just called him coconut oil because he was such a freak. What he wrote on this blog, and I'm telling you, I got to send you the link. You got to find it. Just do a Google search because I'm sure it's still out there. The shit that he was talking about, let your imagination run wild for a minute without me saying it so I don't sound friggin' disgusting and come off like some creeper. That's what he was suggesting that you should use coconut oil for. He's the biggest fucking weirdo in the history of Philadelphia was Gabe Kapler. I couldn't stand that guy. Weirdo. Complete weirdo.
I'll tell you
Read the
what.
blog.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. He was. And here's another one. Big Play Slay. Yo, what's up, Big Play Slay? Another one was, how about the fact that he said he would watch MLB The Show so he can learn how to make a lineup or use his players, emulating a video game that you're controlling. Gabe. You're controlling that guy.
Who says that?
Like, you're a head coach. You're a head coach, and that's what you say. So yeah, Gabe's got to be right up there, man.
You didn't think didn't you think he got a big pass from Philadelphia fans? Don't you think we just gave this guy a pass, as weird as he was and the things that he did?
I'll tell you what. I think it was because he was young, right? And he was the analytics guy, and everybody wanted to think that, oh, you know what, this is going to be the new direction. This is going to be, and it never happened. We seen right through him. He went in. You know what he did, Mike? He went in and he nailed the interview, because you heard him talk, right? Because he was talking to boneheads in that interview, like Matt Klintak. Okay, right? He's another guy, right? But again, what's this say? These are my baseball. These are my baseball teachers. I'm a football, baseball guy. I'm a Dodgers fan, but not too extreme though. All right, what's up? These are my baseball teachers.
What's up, Big Play Slay?
What's up, Big Play Slay? What do you got, buddy? Thanks for checking in, man. We're talking about we're just getting ready to get out of here. Got a couple minutes, but we're talking about some big play stiffs from back in the day, with Gabe Kapler being number one. I think right. I think we just were like, he's new analytics, but dumb. Rich says lay off the weed.
Exactly, man. Stop with the.
I
Or not, or send some here.
Yeah, whatever
Either
you
way.
got to do, man. Come on. You know what I mean? Let's spark up. But
Jim Druckenmiller.
well, pretty much helped me get into baseball more, rather. Well, I can tell you what, Big Play Slay, hit that subscription button, right? Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, because we do 100% have a baseball show called Diamond Talk that is going to be starting on April 1st. So those guys right there, Jeremy Horwath and JD Oracle, will teach you all you need to know about baseball. They'll be going, won't be live, but pre-recorded, but it'll be on the YouTube channel. So check
Definitely
that
a
out.
great show.
Big
Yeah,
Play
check it
Slay.
out.
It'll be a good show. They already have 2 guests lined up, major league, minor league baseball players. So really good stuff coming up. And Al says, how about the Candy Man?
The Candy Man, nice.
Candy. I think we're gonna actually we need to end on the lay off the weed comment by Rich. He does win tonight. Rich, yes, you do win tonight. Absolutely, 100%. But again, everybody, a great show tonight. We kind of had an open mic forum. Wait, hold on. You guys are football fans too. Let's go Eagles. Hell yeah, it'd be great. Yeah, we'll be great friends now. You got it. Big Play Slay. Let's go.
Yep.
EATLES Eagles. Absolutely. 100%. Rich, we will lay off the weed. Great. I know, Rich.
Or not.
I know what Rich is saying. All good. But, open mic tight tonight. Tony Jigsaw Cotillo, Mikey Googs, Heat Ratio Sports. Subscribe, follow, notify, check us out. Stay again. I'm not getting all confused because Rich with this lay off the weed comments. It's right in my head. I can't even think straight right now. 100%. My Big Play Slay. Absolutely. Come join us, man. We have a lot of fun on this show. Rich, love this show. We love you too, pal. As always, stay safe, stay healthy. We'll catch you next week.